Ragin Cajuns baseball is heading to Stark Vegas for the NCAA Regionals. Let's break it all down here on Ragin Rundown. What's good, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome into another episode of Ragin Rundown, the show where you will know all things UL sports. I'm your guy, Jamarcus Fitzpatrick, but you know you can always call me Fitz. And on today's episode, we will be talking about Louisiana baseball getting back into the NCAA tournament, and they will be heading to Starkville, Mississippi, to be a part of that regional. The field of that regional bracket will be the likes of Mississippi State as the number 14 overall seed, Lipscomb, and also Cincinnati, along with the Ragin Cajuns. The Cajuns getting the number 3 seed in that bracket or in that field as well. Also, kudos to the Sun Belt for getting 5 teams in. Texas State, Troy with a part of the last 4 in. Obviously, Louisiana, and then Coastal and Southern Miss getting into the NCAA tournament as well. So what we'll do is, obviously, we know what the field will look like. We'll do a preview of the matchup that the Cajuns will have against Cincinnati, and then we'll talk about the other games that are going to be happening and the potential matchups that the Cajuns could face in the regional over this upcoming weekend that will begin on Friday at 6 p.m. with the Cajuns matchup against the Cincinnati Bearcats. So obviously, this season has been a lot of a roller coaster for Louisiana. They start off the year playing really well in non-conference. They would end up being ranked in the top 25, and then they hit a buzzsaw in the middle of the season where they were swept by Texas State. They would lose a series to James Madison, to ULM, and then after that, they flip the switch. They get wins over Southern Miss, Arkansas State, Georgia State, App State, and then close out the regular season, getting 2 of 3 against Coastal Carolina. Once the regular season was over, we talked about on the show multiple times how I believed that this team needed to win the Sun Belt Conference tournament or at least get to the championship game in order to get a regional bid. And that's exactly what they would go ahead and do. The only loss that they would suffer would be against Texas State in game 9 of the tournament. They would beat Coastal Carolina 2 more times in this tournament, making it 4 or 5 on the season. They beat Texas State twice, and then they lost to Southern Miss on Sunday, yesterday, for the championship game. So now they find themselves here in the Starkville Regional, and they will take on a Cincinnati team that is a member of the Big 12 that, according to Warren Nolan, is number 24. They have the number 22 best RPI in the country. They finished 6th in the Big 12. They beat the likes of number 4 Auburn. They beat Kansas one time, I believe, and then they got 2 of 3 against West Virginia. They have hit 84 home runs this season. That's 37th in the country. So this is a team that can hit the long ball extremely well. They are averaging 7.4 runs per game, and they have a 300 batting average, which is 42nd in the country. And then their runs per game is 74th in the country. So you're going to be playing against a very quality opponent that can hit the baseball really well. But as we know, the Cajuns do really well on the defensive side of things, and they have been pitching really well also. So I'm expecting to probably see Cody Brash run out there on Friday against the Bearcats, and then you'll manage it from there of how you want to go, whether that's, running Andrew Herman out there, but he's been throwing quite a bit. He threw quite a bit there in the Sun Belt tournament, so he might be limited on rest, but he's a senior, and I know that he's going to want to give it his all for his team. So we'll see how the team manages the pitching rotation for this upcoming weekend. But it should fare to be a really, really good matchup between these two teams. Like I said, Cincinnati, finished the season 37-20 and finished 6th in the Big 12 standings. And I told you some of the big wins that they had. They lost the first game that they played in the Big 12 tournament. They lost to Arizona State 10-2. And outside of that, when you look at some of the wins that they have, like they were 10-9 against Quad 1 opponents, 7-6 against Quad 2, 9-2 against Quad 3 opponents, and then 9-4 or 7-1, against Quad 4 opponents. In terms of RPI, or 11-3 in terms of Quad 4. I'm looking at 2 different things at the same time. So they are kind of in the middle of the pack as well, very similar to the way you were, but they didn't get hot in the conference tournaments exactly like the way that you did. So this is a very winnable game for you. And to be honest, this entire site, Starkville, is a winnable site for you as well. So you draw a very winnable regional for you, and now it's just about being able to go out and continue to play quality baseball and win 3 games in 4 days. That's what it's going to boil down to. You keep winning, you stay in the winners bracket, but ultimately win 3 games in 4 days. That's all it's going to take to be able to win said regional. So I'm going to take a quick timeout. When we come back, we'll talk about the other 2 teams that are in this regional. That's Lipscomb and Mississippi State. We'll talk about their matchup and what it could look like if Louisiana can beat Cincinnati and go to the winners bracket, or if they have to play through the losers bracket, what the matchups could look like with those teams. And then we'll also look ahead to what the Starkville regional is matched up with the other regional that it's matched up with in the entire field of 64. We'll discuss it when we come back here on Ragin Rundown. Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning into another episode of Rage and Rundown. We're going to get back into the action in just a second. But before we do, please do me a favor. Like this video, share it, and leave a comment down below. But most importantly, make sure you subscribe to the channel and let me know, do you think Louisiana is going to win the Starkville Regional? If you're listening, please follow the podcast feed, rate the show, and leave us a review, because that's going to help us get in front of more Raging Cajun fans just like yourself. So we talked about Cincinnati, the opponent that Louisiana will face initially on Friday here in the Starkville Regional. But the other 2 teams that are a part of this regional are obviously Mississippi State, that was the number 14 overall seed, and then Lipscomb out of the ASUN Conference. So we'll start with Mississippi State. They finished with the 13th best RPI according to Warren Nolan, but the 14th overall seed. They finished 8th in the SEC, so they were 16-14 in SEC play. They swept a non-conference series against Lipscomb, so they will be playing this team for the 4th time, I believe, this season. So it's going to be it's going to be a winnable game for them. Not trying to discredit Lipscomb at all, because they earned their right to be in this regional, but Mississippi State is expected to win this game. Um, some of the wins that Mississippi State has are the likes of sweeping Ole Miss in 4 games this season. They were 4-6 though in the total SEC run, the series that they won. They won 4 weekend series, and a lot of them were not big wins. I think one of them was against LSU, if I'm not mistaken. I have to go back and look, but I have just some quick notes that I have written up. But this team can hit really, really well, so it's not going to be easy to just run away and beat them. They haven't won a lot of big games, but they can hit the baseball really well. So if you're not making it hard for them and giving them different variation of pitches, if you're just giving them fastballs or very, simple pitches down the middle that they can swing at, they can hit it out of the yard. They have 106 home runs on the year, which is 13th in the country. They're averaging 8.5 runs a game, which is 15th in the country, and they have a 313 batting average, which is 10th in the country. So this is a team that can hit the baseball really, really well. So it's not to overlook them, but it's just going to be interesting to see how the Cajuns could very well match up with Mississippi State, the Bulldogs, in this particular regional based on how it falls. Let me go back and look and see exactly who they beat in terms of conference play. So obviously they had the series over Ole Miss, which is a quality one. They lost to Georgia, the number 3 team in the country, which is also what this regional is matched up with, the Athens regional. So if the Cajuns are able to get out of Starkville, they will have to go and be back in SEC country and will take on Georgia in the super regional if Georgia is able to get out of there, which they should. Um, they lost to Tennessee. They beat South Carolina. That's not really an impressive series win. They swept them. They swept LSU. They lost to Texas. They got 1 win over Auburn, but lost the series, and they lost to Texas A&M. So not a ton of quality wins for Mississippi State. In fact, they are 9-14 in quad one wins, 4-3 in quad twos, 12-0 in quad threes, and then 15-0 in quad fours. So they win the games that they're supposed to, but some of the bigger games are the more quality opponents that are on their schedule. They haven't played as well against them. So again, this regional is favored for the Cajuns in this one. That's not to say that they're going to steamroll this one and they're not going to lose a game, but it's very favorable for them to be in a position to potentially be able to win said regional. The final team in this regional is Lipscomb. They won the ASUN tournament. Not a very impressive regular season slate that they had, but they can hit fairly well. Also, they have a 292 batting average. Obviously, like I said, Mississippi State beat them in 3 games during the regular season, including I think a 26 to nothing run rule victory over them. So that should be a wash game there on Friday. I believe their first game is at 1 o'clock. Um, so that should be a wash. But it's thereafter if the Cajuns are matched up with them in the losers bracket, or by some miracle they're matched up with them in the winners bracket, it's again going to be about playing great defense and great pitching. I believe UL's bats can be able to continue to stay hot because they have been over tournament play, and now as they are carrying that over into the postseason, I think that their bats can continue to be hot. So it's just going to be a matter of syncing up the hitting and the pitching together, and we'll see how things all fare for the Ragin' Cajuns here in postseason play. It's going to be a fun one there in Starkville. It's about a 5-hour drive from Lafayette, so if you're a Ragin' Cajun fan, make the trip up. We're going to see if we'll be making it up for my day job at KTC, and if we don't, I'll still be covering here right here on Ragin' Rundown. We'll figure out how we'll be able to get that done and be able to do some double duty for you guys to make sure that we're covering it on all bases. Like I mentioned, if the Cajuns are able to get out of this said regional, they would be matched up with the Athens regional with the Georgia Bulldogs near the bottom of the bracket. So they would be leaving from SEC country and going to SEC country once again, going from Mississippi State and Starkville to Athens, Georgia, to take on the Georgia Bulldogs, a team that won the SEC regular season and also the SEC tournament and can hit the baseball really, really well. Former LSU hitting coach, if I'm not mistaken, Wes Johnson is the leader for the Bulldogs over there. So before you can get to that, you have to win this one. So we'll see how things fare for the Ragin' Cajuns as they go through the Starkville Regional. And not to mention, this is the first time the Cajuns re-enter postseason play after missing out on a regional bid last year. So you're in a much better position than what you were last season, nearly getting to 40 wins, finishing at 39 after tournament play. So now it's about going and continuing to stack quality wins and trying to get out of said regional. So that's going to wrap up this episode of Ragin' Rundown. If you've made it to this point in the video, thank you so much. Please do me a favor, like it, share it, and leave a comment down below. But most importantly, make sure you subscribe to the channel and let me know down in the comments, how do you believe the Cajuns are going to fare in the Starkville Regional, and how will they be able to win it? And if they're going to be able to make it to that super regional against the Georgia Bulldogs. If you're listening, please follow the podcast feed, rate the show, and leave us a review because that's going to help us get in front of more Ragin' Cajun fans just like yourself. I'm your guy, Jamarcus Fitzpatrick. We'll see you guys next time.